Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I'm Lauren from Guthrie and Ganny, and in this video I'll be sharing with you the recording of the live question and answer session that I did on the Instagram platform on Monday the 28th of August 2023. So I've got even more new autumn and winter fabrics to show you. There's some really lovely stuff and I'll be answering all of your sewing and dressmaking questions that you've sent in beforehand. So lots of tips and advice and inspiration for your next dressmaking projects. So you'll see me read out some questions and any comments that are coming in live during it. But if you are watching here on YouTube and you do want to ask me any other questions, or if you've got any input or comments or anything like that you want me to share in my next session, then you can always leave a comment on this video. You can always contact the shop and I'll put our contact details in the description to this video as well. Don't forget, I always put timestamp chapters on the video as well, so you can hover along there and see when I answer different questions too, so it's easier to just jump to a certain section. But I'll switch over to the live now. I hope you enjoy it and I'll see you soon. Hi everyone, good evening on this Monday evening. Here for another live Q&A for you tonight. Got all your questions ready, got some new fabrics to show you as well. All more and more new autumn and winter fabrics are coming in all the time at the moment. I'm trying not to completely freak out about how full the shop is of fabric, but yeah, there's lots and lots of new fabrics that are here at the moment. I've got some of them to show you tonight, and then also this week I'll be doing like a monthly new fabrics roundup on my YouTube channel as well, so you'll be able to see all of the new fabrics in that too. So the new ones that I do have to show you tonight, they're not online yet. They should be going online tomorrow, along with lots of others. And then the ones that I did show you last Monday, they have been on all week. So some of them have been quite popular already. So yeah, if you check out the Just Arrived section, you'll see some of the new autumn winter fabrics coming in, but there are new ones this week. There's going to be new ones next. There's just new lots. It's like that time of year where there's just like a lot going on. So we did add to our summer sale over the weekend, just because we like really need to clear space. So anything that's like quite summery is now in the sale. So you can check out the sale section as well, and there's even more new fabric, not new fabrics, there's as in like summery fabrics in the sale, but new ones that we added over the weekend. So yeah, you can check that out as well. And then what else was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought now. So yeah, I hope if you had the bank holiday today, you've had a really lovely weekend. Nice and relaxing maybe if you had the day off work. So yeah, I will get stuck in and start showing you some of the new things, and then I will get on to your questions as well. So I'm just looking at what I'm going to show you. First of all, this is just like a little snapshot. There are loads of more new stuff, but I just literally couldn't bring them all out. A lot of them are on rolls as well, and it was like a lot for me to kind of move around and get out. But yeah, I'll share them all in more detail on my roundup on YouTube this week. Okay, so the first ones are, we've had quite a few like woolen fabrics start to come in now, which are really nice. The first one I'm going to show you is this one, and this is the monochrome blended boucle fabric. So it's a wool, alpaca, nylon and mohair mix, so it's nice and textured here, and I would say it's more of like a, you know, it's like a coating weight fabric. I actually think you probably could use it either side. This side's obviously darker, this side's obviously a little bit lighter, but yeah, I think that would be really lovely for a coat, and nice that it's not, you know, it's not like a solid colour. It's got really nice texture to it, but obviously you wouldn't need to be pattern matching anything like that. So that is the first one. And then I have also got this one, which I love as well. This would make a really beautiful coat, or you could use it to make a little skirt as well. I think that would be cute. So it's navy in the background, and then it's got this gorgeous little colours of flecks in it, which are really nice. There's some pink and yellow and blue and green and red. So this is the multi-fleck on navy blended boucle fabric. So it is a wool, acrylic, polyester and viscose mix. So again, a really nice weight for something cozy and wintry. And then the next ones that I've got, there's two colourways of this one. This is another one that's kind of like reversible as well. I think you could sort of use either side. So it's like a double gauze really. What have we called it? checkered spot on blue reversible cotton fabric, but it is like 2 layers of fabric really that are kind of woven together, and these dots are like woven into it, and then the back of it's like the reverse basically of the front, so you could definitely do some nice contrasting with that kind of thing. So then we've got it in a blue, and then we've also got it in this kind of maroony colour as well, which is really nice. I'll show you the back of that too. So that's like a black and white kind of check, mini check, and then like a blue and sort of maroon check is the other one. So it's like that. Would those boucle fabrics be okay for the Cambria duster? Yeah, I think they would be. Yeah, I think that would be nice. And then the other one, what else have I got to show you? This one here, which we do have in another colourway as well, is a herringbone, and it's in a really lovely pink colour. So this one is the cerise herringbone wool fabric, and it's 100% wool, this one, so it'll be even cosier. And yeah, I think it's either in like a grey or a blue colour, the other colourway of that. And then we've also got some waxed cottons as well. I'll pull them over. This is one of the colours here. It's quite a wet sort of saturated wax. This is the Air Force Blue wet finish wax cotton fabric. And then I've also got it in a red and a maroon as well. Oh, I'll just pull them over. We do have some other colours too, but they were just the ones I thought I'd pull over to show you. So this is the ruby one, and then this is the Marlo. So yeah, because they've got a wax finish of them, then they're going to repel the water. So yeah, that's handy if you want to make a sort of raincoat. What would you make using the herringbone wool fabric? It's gorgeous. I think you could use it to make a coat or a blazer. You could make a little skirt with it as well, something simple. Somebody was asking, actually I might as well answer this question now while I've covered the wools. Somebody was asking what fabric to make for the Sovra Ava skirt, which is just like a really simple little kind of classic skirt, which we did as a kit a couple of years ago, and you could use any of the wools to make that. I think that would be really nice. Okay, and then the next ones I was going to show you, this one here, because it also actually answers a question that was asked too. It's just a nice classic navy. It's a Ponte Roma, so it's stretchy, but it's got a really nice weight to it. It's nice and stable. You can't see through it at all. It's got a nice amount of structure, so it's good for. So the Tilly and the Buttons Cocoa top and dress is a classic that asks for Ponte Roma. But anything where you want something stretchy that's got a bit more structure. So it's the deep navy Ponte fabric, and it's mostly viscose, 69 viscose, 25 polyamide and 6% elastane. Quite often polyesters, I mean Ponte Romas are mostly polyester, but that's got quite a high viscose content, which I personally prefer. And somebody was asking, let me just find where it was again, because I might as well answer that question now. Please tell me what you call the fabrics that look like a heavy t-shirt fabric to make a dress. So I think maybe you might be thinking of Ponte Roma when you're describing that fabric. Somebody's asking, would the wax cotton be okay for a factotum bag? Yes, I think it would be. Does the wax finish in the fabric get into the machine when you sew? Do you have to clean it in a specific way? No, it doesn't. I've sewn with waxed fabric a lot, and it doesn't do that. Is that the Milleraine wax that you used for the Kelly anorak? Do you have it in tan? It's not the Milleraine one. It's probably slightly lighter weight than the one that I used for the Kelly anorak. And we do have it in a tan. I was just checking because there's a few more other colours in the corner. I couldn't bring them all over. So yeah, I think you would. It's going to be, I would say it's like, basically it's like a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit more transparent than what the Milleraine ones were. They had a dry wax finish, and they definitely just sort of, yeah, you couldn't really see through them as much, whereas I feel like these ones, maybe you sort of can kind of see through them a little bit more. So if you were you could make an unlined lightweight sort of raincoat with it. Otherwise you can make a lined garment with it, which I think would work nice as well. So yeah, that's the waxed cotton ones. Okay, so yeah, that's the little selection of the new things, but I will be sharing more in my YouTube video later this week. So in terms of the questions that were sent in beforehand, I feel like there's quite a lot because it's spilled onto 3 pages. So I'll get stuck into them and try and answer as many as I can. And if you do have any other questions as I'm chatting, please feel free to ask them. Okay, so the first one is, I really like the double-sided bubble cord fabric you showed last week. So that was this one here. It comes in quite a few colours. This is the pink one. So it's like 2 layers of fabric together. The back is this really sort of soft fleecy colour, and then this is like a cord effect. We've called it bubble cord because it's just like a bit more textured than regular cord. So the question is, I would like to make the Ilford. I've never made this jacket before because it seems like the ease would make it huge, and I can't downsize as I would make the smallest size, but I thought the fleecy back of the fabric would make it come up smaller. Is this likely? I think it probably would make it come up a little bit smaller, but it generally, like the Ilford, does have quite a lot of ease. But also regarding the button, placket and collar, how would they work in the double-sided fabric? So I think you'd be surprised. It's not like as, you know, thick and chunky as you would imagine. Like, I think you would just make the button, placket and the collar as per the instructions, and I think it would be fine. And finally, I'm guessing I would have to make the sleeve version without the sleeve placket. Sorry about so many questions, no problems. What I was thinking about the placket, I think maybe just because you've got quite small seam allowances on the placket and like the way that you construct it, you know, that might be a bit tricky with this type of fabric. But what I was thinking that you could do is sew the placket and make it like a little feature. Like you could use something like this, which is just a cotton flannel. This is one of the Robert Kaufman ones. It is the honeysuckle mammoth organic cotton flannel fabric. So you could just do the placket with that and it would be like a little feature, and I thought that might look quite nice. So that was my idea for that one. And then also in relation to that question, another question was, should I size up when making the Ilford jacket and the bubble fur backed cord due to it being a double layered fabric? What I think I would probably do is I would work out what size I was going to make, or like see what my measurements came up as, and then if you look at the finished garment measurement chart for the bust for that size that you think you would be planning to make, and then get your measuring tape and put it round you at that measurement of whatever the finished garment measurement's going to be, and then you'll see how much ease that it's got when it's on your body. And I've done that before. I find it just helps me to like visualize it a little bit more, like, oh, you know, how loose is this actually going to be? Because you might find that you maybe want it to kind of sit a bit neater or not be too oversized when it's thicker, in which case you maybe wouldn't need to size up because it is quite oversized anyway. So yeah, I would suggest doing that. Okay, a couple of people are asking about my shirt. I like your shirt. What's the pattern and the fabric? Also, the buttons are lovely. Are they metal or pearly? I was also going to ask about the fabric of your shirt. Yeah, sorry, I should have said that in the beginning. So this is the sample that we had of the Paper Theory Olia shirt that we did as a kit earlier in the summer. And unfortunately, Paper Theory don't print their sewing patterns anymore, but you can get them as a PDF from the Paper Theory website, and then we can print it out for you. And my top tips video for the kit is still available too. Now for the fabric, it's like a little stripe sort of Swiss dot, and we don't have any by the meter left, but we do have some cut length pieces. So if you check out the remnant / bolt end section of the website, we do have some of this left as like sort of fixed cut lengths. But what I do have is this one here, which is quite similar. It's just got a little bit more detail in it. Can you see it's like stripy, but it's got, yeah, more sort of like different floral patterns on it. And in terms of sort of weight and structure, it's very, very similar to this. And this one is in the sale as well. This is one of the summery ones that we added to the sale. So it's the floral stripe embroidered cotton fabric, and it's $20.40 a metre, but then it's got 20% off. So yeah, this is a good alternative. But as I said, we do have a few sort of cut lengths of this one in the bolt end section, and it's the Paper Theory Olia shirt. Okay, so the next one was, I'm planning to make the I Am Hathor, which I think is like a kind of body warmer style garment, and I want to line it ideally with a fleece. Would it need to be non-stretch, or would your fleeces work? So I was guessing that it was these fleeces that you were thinking of, and I was sort of having a feel of it and trying to think, because they are quite stretchy, but they're stretchy at like 90 degrees to the selvage. So I'm just trying to rest the bowl so I can actually stretch it so I can show you. See, it is like quite stretchy, but it's only at 90 degrees to the selvage. It's not stretchy this way, up and down the way, because one thing I was worried about if you lined it would be if it then sort of like was like saggy or kind of baggy as a lining. But I think because it's stretchy that way as opposed to that way, I think it might actually be okay. So I'm gonna say yes. I think you can make it work, yeah. Okay, where do I find the sale section on the website? I keep looking and can't find it. I know, I'm sorry. Okay, so if you go to the just arrived section, and then if you sort of scroll down the little kind of blurby text bit at the top, and then there's an expandable menu. You click, if you're looking on a phone, you click on the right hand side and it'll expand the menu down to like all the different categories that are in the shop, and then you'll see the sale fabrics in that little section there. If you still can't find it, send me a direct message on here and then I'll send you a link to it if you can't find it. Okay, the next one was, you mentioned last week for the Marlo cardigan, collar / neckband could be adjusted for woven non-stretch. How would you go about that? So yeah, the True Bias Marlo cardigan is designed to be used with stretchy fabric, and the neckband pattern piece that comes with it, there's actually 2 variations of the pattern piece that you have to pick between when you make it, depending on the percentage of stretch of your fabric. And this is the physical percentage of stretch. It's not how much elastane is in it, it's like how much is it physically stretching. So the stretchier the fabric, the smaller the pattern piece is. And then, so I think it's like up to 20% stretch, and then there's like a 20 to 40% stretch one. So if you were making it out of a fabric that didn't really stretch at all, then what you're going to find basically is that the neckband piece is too short because it's designed to be used for stretch, and therefore the neckband sort of gets stretched into the garment. So you would have to just lengthen it, and you would, I guess the most accurate way to do it would be to like measure, including your hemband, because the collar and neckband goes right the way down there. So including your hemband like up and then like all the way around the neck and back down. So see what length that is, and then you'd have to put that in. But the only thing that I was thinking if you did do that is that you need to be aware that because the neckband gets stretched in here, it helps it to sort of sit a bit flatter. So if your fabric's not getting stretched, it will make that neckband section at the back and over your shoulders, it'll make it sort of stand up a little bit more if you make it in a non-stretch fabric. So that's something to be aware of. Okay, so the next question was, I love the black and oatmeal double-faced viscose knit. Yeah, it's really nice. And I wanted to make a simple cardigan with black on the outer, but then where I can roll up the sleeves a bit to show off the oatmeal colour, if that makes sense. Can you French seam a jersey so there's no raw seams showing on the turned up sleeve bit, or any other suggestions? I would say, so this is like a double-sided fabric as well. It's like 2 layers of fabric sort of bonded together. I would say that it is too thick to French seam, so I wouldn't suggest doing that because I think it will just feel too bulky and clunky. If you've got an overlocker, you probably find that if you get matching thread, then that will sort of blend in quite well, and it won't really be that obvious. Like, I think it would still look okay if you overlocked it. But the other thing that you could do if you wanted to turn it back and then like to sort of look neat or not see any sort of raw edges at all, is to just add like a kind of facing or sort of like an internal cuff section into it. So you would it would almost be like sewing an extra bit onto the length, but then like turning that back into the sleeve and then stitching it down. So you'd have like a line of top stitching, and then you could sort of turn it back, and then, you know, all the raw edges and everything would be enclosed. I hope that makes sense. So that was my other idea. If you don't have an overlock, or you definitely don't want to see any raw edges at all. Okay, the next one was not sewing related, but just wondering if you miss being a physiotherapist. That's what I used to be before I had the shop, and that's what I did at uni, and I worked in the NHS for 5 years. But my answer to that is no, actually I don't. But the reason I don't is because I feel like the things that I really liked about it, I still get to kind of do them, or like just still What am I trying to say? Sorry, my train of thought's all over the place today because I've been with the kids all day. Yeah, I feel like the things that I liked about it, I still can like do them in the way that I've set up my job or my career or whatever now. Like, I really like to help people and chat to people and explain things to them and educate them on different things, and that a lot of physiotherapy is about that. And I do still like really enjoy all of like the anatomy side of things and like understanding how the body works and stuff, but I'm quite into like health and fitness and things, so then I feel like I get to use that part of my brain in that as well. So yeah. Okay, thanks for that answer. I hadn't thought of doing a facing. That's a great idea. No probs. Could you repeat the name of the fine white floral cotton you have? I can't find on your site. It is the floral stripe embroidered cotton fabric. I'm just making a sweatshirt, a pattern hack with blue chica and matching blue ribbing. How much shorter should the ribbed neckband be? I don't have like a specific kind of percentage or measurement to give you, but what you could, I'm trying to think the best way for you to get an answer, for me to like explain it to you. I do have a video on my YouTube channel. It's quite old now, but it is still pretty relevant. Like, a lot of people have watched it. So if you search Lauren Guthrie jersey neckband on YouTube, you'll find it. And it kind of explains basically how you can sort of work it out using 2 different methods. So yeah, check that out and you'll get more detailed information. Okay, why is we need to change a needle for jersey or woven, but the overlocker needles never needs to be changed? Well, at least not for ages, when blunt maybe. I know I get asked this a lot, and basically my reasoning is that when you sew stuff with a jersey needle on the sewing machine, I guess this, I don't know, is it because the stitches that are formed in that are maybe more likely to be put under sort of tension or pressure in a different way, whereas because the overlocker stitches are like inherently pretty stretchy anyway, then it just doesn't stress the fabric as much. Yeah. Okay, somebody's suggesting general rule is 80% of the total length. I would say that's a good starting point. Some ribbings can be like really, really stretchy, so it depends what your ribbing's like as well. I tend to find that 2x2 ribbing, which is the one that's kind of looks like more chunkier, like more, the lines are more pronounced. I generally find that that is more stretchy than the 1x1 ribbing, which is the stuff that kind of looks a bit flatter. So it can vary. Recommendations for a batwing top, both woven and knit. I've made the Fibremood Tanita, which is a woven one, and it's really nice. It's got bat wings. I can't think of a knit one off the top of my head though, I'd have to have a look for that. I always change the needles in my overlocker when I'm using jersey. Good to know. Okay, the next one was how to change the button placard on a norma blouse to a normal v-neck. So what you need to do is work out where the centre front is. I feel like there might be a notch for that, but otherwise it's going to be, because I'm trying to think how the normal blouse has got a facing, so then you kind of just, you need to like work out where the centre front is. It's because it's not like that edge, the centre front is like here, so it's not like the edge of the front bodice piece. You need to find out where the centre front is, and then that would become your fold line, so then you cut that out in the fold, and then you'd have to make a facing that matched that. So the facing you could still use your same back facing piece, but you'd have to redraft a new facing that was like a V shape for the front. It's definitely easy to do. Okay, a few suggestions for a knit batwing. Style Arc has one. Tammy Handmade have a knit batwing top. Good. Are you planning to put together an advent calendar this year? We're not, I'm afraid, sorry. Okay, the next question was, do you think, okay, there was a couple. Do you think overlockers are worth it? I hate how untidy my seams look with a zigzag stitch. And then the other one separate to that was, should I buy an overlocker? So my answer is yes and yes to both of those questions. And the reason is that I think if you're feeling like you're how untidy the seams are is annoying you, then you will enjoy having an overlocker because they just won't be untidy anymore. So, and then also, I feel like if you're asking, should I buy an overlocker, you're obviously that sort of contemplation stage of buying it, in which case I feel like you're probably ready. You know, an overlocker is like another machine. They can be quite expensive. But if you're doing a lot of sewing, a lot of dressmaking, and you're just finding it a bit annoying sometimes when you come to try and finish off seam allowances, it like takes long time, or you know, you like things to be neat in the inside, so you end up like doing French seams and stuff all the time, which is good sometimes. I have an overlocker, I still do French seams. I'm not saying don't do that, but I just feel like that you would, you know, you'd feel the benefits of it. Some people agreeing, yes, buy an overlocker if you are going to keep sewing. That's a shame. I think it would be very popular, maybe something to think about for next year. You should check out the Fabric Godmother one. They did one last year as well. Unfortunately, because we do the Sewing Society kits take a lot of work, we just don't really have like the resources and the team to be able to like take on another big project like that, because we do the 2 new kits every month, which you know, use up a lot of resources to do that. So I'm sorry. Have never regretted getting my overlocker. You wonder how you ever managed without an overlocker once you had one. Yeah, I totally agree. Another vote for overlocker. I got one from eBay and I'm delighted with it. I couldn't be without my overlocker. Best purchase ever, and good to do at G&G Intro to Overlocking Workshop to gain confidence. That's great, thank you. You won't regret investing in an overlocker. I'd stretched an air threader one if you can. Yes, an overlocker. It makes the garments look more professional. Yes, buy an overlocker. Okay, so lots of support there for yes to the overlocker. So hopefully that has enabled you to make a decision. You can blame it on us. We told you to do it. Okay, the next question was tips for leveling the hem on a bias cut skirt. So it's tricky, isn't it? Because it's like could potentially be all over the place. Definitely be like letting it hang out for a while, like 2 or 3 days, because the hem is probably quite likely to drop. I did actually also hear a tip the other day that if you sew even if you're making it out of woven fabric, well, if it's bias cut, you would be, if you sew the seam with a stretch stitch, then it doesn't, then that can sort of help and stop the hemline like going up a little bit at the side seams too. So if you've got a friend, this makes it much easier because your friend can help you to level it out. But if you are trying to do it on your own, then you might want to have a look at getting a hem marker, which is like a little kind of tripod stand with a measuring stick sticking out of it. And there's a little pot of loose chalk that shoots the chalk out in a line, and it's connected to like a wire that's got a puffer thing. So you squeeze the puffer thing that shoots out the chalk. So you can just like adjust it to whatever height you want. I've had 2 in the past. Unfortunately, they've like both broken. It's like where the chalk thing like clips on. Like the little clip for that just kept breaking. So, and then I kind of got fed up because it happened to me twice. So I don't actually have one that I use anymore, but so I feel like I'm contradicting myself here because I'm like, think about buying one, but just bear in mind it might break. But I don't know, maybe they've moved on since I had them, was a while ago. But that can really help if you're on your own to level it out. Okay, let's see what else. If possible, buy an overlocker with cover stitch, but either way, an overlocker is definitely a good purchase. I have the same as the one in your courses. What are your thoughts regarding a cover stitch? I have a cover stitch. I don't use it since stretch thread. Sewing Mason has some great tips for buying bias sewing. Okay, that's a good one to check out, the bias skirt. Sewing Mason. Since Mariflex, I don't use my cover stitch. I recently got a cover stitch, takes my dressmaking to the next level. Definitely saves time, which is a huge plus for me. I think if you sew a lot with knitted or stretchy garments, then you know, it might be worth it. We do actually have one in the studio, because we get the overlockers, it's Janome overlockers we've got in the studio, and we get them on loan from Janome, and then they gave us a cover stitch machine on loan as well, and we did use it a bit when we first got it, but I don't know, I just never really got that into it. So I'm not sure. I feel like I'm probably not really, I feel like, yeah, I don't really like misusing it, but I guess I think if you are doing a lot of sewing with stretchy fabric, then you maybe feel like you get more use out of it. I love my cover stitch. It's great for hemming and binding baby clothes. I'm going to use the 2x2 cotton ribbing for the neckband of the True Bias Marlo. How do I tell the stretch value of the rib? So what you need to do is get the lines like running up and down the way, and then get your tape measure running like at 90 degrees to the lines as they go up and down, and put a pin at 0 and put a pin when it's relaxed, and put a pin at 10 centimeters, and then pinch the fabric and hold the tape measure at 0, and then stretch the fabric and see where it stretches to. So if it stretches to like 13 centimeters, then it's got 30% stretch. If it stretches to 14 centimeters, it's got 14% stretch, and so on. I hope that helps. Okay, so that's really interesting. I have wondered if I would actually use it. Cover stitch is great for knots. Can you use a cover stitch for woven fabrics, or are they just for knits? Yeah, I think you can use it on wovens as well. I use my dress form, which has a hem measuring tool on it, which was a lifesaver for my bias cut hem. Well, let's get a combo of a dress form and a hem marker. You can use cover stitch on knits and wovens. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so lots of input there on the overlock and cover stitch. Thanks everyone. Okay, the next question was, is it okay to use ready-made cotton binding on a viscose garment? I'm going to say no. I think the fabrics just behave too differently, and it will make the neckline quite stiff. So I'm sorry, I'm going to say no to that. I know it's maybe not the answer you might have wanted, but I think it's worth using a viscose binding. Do you think that the Fibremood quilla top would look okay in a person that needs to do a full bust adjustment? I don't feel like I'm in a position really to tell anybody what looks good or not good on them. I think, you know, I feel like I can't really answer that question. I could probably describe what I think might happen, is that because the quilla is kind of, it is more sort of like fitted over here, but then because you've got that elastic section under here, it is very, very loose. So I think what would end up happening if you had to do a bust adjustment is that the area down here might feel more voluminous than it is anyway, because it is like quite loose and kind of right around here. So I think it depends on whether you feel comfortable with that or not. I hope that helps. Okay, please tell me what you I answered that in the beginning. Okay, just sewing viscose from Fabric Godmother, and I got 2 snags. Any tips using microsex needles? Make sure you're using the finest one, so the size 60. And it might even be that you need to change it during your project also. Make sure that you've got really sharp pins or fine pins. We sell ones that are extra fine, and they're really good for lightweight viscose fabric. If you've got any tailor's tacks, or like you're doing any hand sewing, make sure you've got really nice sharp fine needles for that as well. And yeah, I think that's all I've got on that. Anybody else got any tips other than that on avoiding snags? Let me know. Okay, the next question was, my ginger jeans fitted perfectly until I put on the waistband, which gapes at the back. What I think is happening here is that the waistband's not curved enough for you. So if you could cut a new waistband and make it more curved. So basically you have to, I'm trying to think how to explain this. If it's curved like that, it needs to be like more pronounced. So then you'd have to sort of cut into it and kind of cut into it from the bottom of the waistband like up to the top of it, and then kind of spread it out a little bit more, so that it becomes more curved, so that effectively like the inside curve of it is smaller, because that's why it's gaping. It's because it's sort of coming up your body. It's not the shape of the curve at the top's not tight enough to sort of sit round you. If you want to just like try and rescue the waistband that you've got, then you could just try and sort of pinch it out and almost like sew a little kind of tuck or like a little dart in it. You could even do that at a couple of places, maybe like a couple of places at the back, and that'll help it fit better as well. But otherwise, if you've got enough fabric to cut out a new one, then just make it more curved. So I hope that helps. Okay, the next one was, I struggle to use carbon copy tracing paper on fabric. Any tips? I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So I guess it would depend, maybe like different brands, you have to kind of lean heavier. I think you really need to be doing it on a surface that's quite firm or hard. So if you've got a self-healing mat, that's going to be really good because you can like really kind of put a lot of pressure through it. You want to be using like a little tracing wheel. We do ones that are toothed and also ones that are smooth. You need to be like getting like some elbow weight behind it to like go over your line so that the carbon paper transfers on. But obviously then to do that, you want to like protect the surface that you're working on. So self-healing mat's good for that because then it sort of provides the force back up again. So it might be that that's maybe an issue, the surface that you're on, and you're maybe not pressing hard enough. What would you call a very fine hand sewing needle, and do you sell them? I'm trying to I think they've maybe got like a number. I can't remember. I'd need to check. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, the next one was the Fibremood magazine pattern seam allowances. I am confused. Do I need to add them? So if it's a pattern that is from a printed magazine, then yes, you do have to add them. I know it's a little bit confusing. If you buy a PDF pattern directly from the Fibremood website and you're like buying just one PDF, then it will come with files that do have the seam allowance included. So then if you like working with patterns that have got seam allowance in them already, then you can opt to print that file. And then you don't have to add the seam allowances on. But if you're working from the patterns that are in the magazine, then yes, you do have to add the seam allowance on. Okay, can I ask about fabric suggestions for the Moss jacket? That's the Helen's Closet and the Marlo sweater. I'd like something fairly structured for both. I'm wondering if corduroy would work for the Moss. Yes, it would. We had quite a few new corduroys in that are really nice and chunky that I think would be lovely. So this one is online already. It's the teal chunky cotton corduroy fabric. It's $15.90 a metre. It's 100% cotton, and I think that would be nice as a moss, and you know, give it a nice jackety feel. And then for the Marlo, with stretch but not too stretchy. I've seen a lot of versions of the Marlo in the cozy colours, which I think look really smart and really nice. This is the peacock blue multi cozy colours multi-flex fleece sweatshirting fabric, and it works really nice as a Marlo. You just use the same fabric for the neckband and the hemband and the cuff bands. Okay, the next one was non-scratchy autumn plain coloured fabric for the protea pants, please. This is a Paradise Patterns one. It's got pleats at the waist, so it's sort of fuller in the hips, and then quite a wide leg trouser, and I think this fabric would be perfect. It's really nice and soft. It doesn't need ironed, which people really like. It's the indigo bamboo blended twill fabric. It does come in other colorways as well, so it's bamboo and recycled polyester, and it looks really smart, and I think it would be lovely for that style of trousers. It's really lovely and soft as well. Okay, the next one was, I've got 2 meters of a muted leopard print viscose linen. What can I make for autumn? I was thinking 2 meters, maybe a skirt. Maybe you could make like a sort of like a long, like a midi skirt, something like the Soul Liberated Estuary or the Closet Core Fior. It's got like a waistband and then buttons down the front. I think that would look nice. You could wear it with tights and a long sleeve jumper top or something. The next one was a pattern for a basic woven t-shirt style, must have darts for bigger bust. I think the Helen's Closet Ashton's quite a classic, so you can get that with the sleeve expansion pack. It comes with several different sleeves, and it would be really nice, which I think is also a good suggestion for another question, which was suggestions for a size inclusive, quick and easy autumn winter top, please. So I would definitely say it's fairly quick and easy. It's simple. It does have bust starts. You can choose to have binding or a facing at the neckline, and it's got an inclusive size range as well. Okay, the next one was, could you recommend a bias cut pattern? I've never made one before. The Tessuti Patterns Evie is a nice skirt that seems popular, and then there's also the Sewing Patterns by Mason Sicily slip dress, which I know is really popular as well. And then the next one was, I'm making my first Friday Pattern Company Wilder top today. Any ideas for a party one? So we did have, where can I find it? We did have some of this really beautiful silk come in. It's an ex-designer silk in this lovely red colour, and I thought this would be, obviously it's plain, but it's really beautiful and drapey and feels very luxurious. So I think that would be sort of nice and simple and classic, but yeah, nice for a party. I don't really have any like really kind of fancy glitzy anything at the moment that I think would be good for the wilder. But yeah, as I said, in the beginning, our winter and autumn stock is always arriving, so there's maybe something else coming in soon. Okay, the next one was recommended coat patterns for maternity that could be used or adjusted afterwards. I personally feel like I probably wouldn't be able to be bothered to adjust a coat once I'd made it. So I was trying to look for ones that just kind of generally looked quite roomy, because then, you know, that's just the style of them, and you could wear it while you were pregnant and, you know, you needed extra space, but otherwise that's just the style. So the Tessuti, oh no, wait a minute, that's not that one. Merlin coat, the I Am Patterns Merlin coat, and then the Tessuti Soho coat and the Sapporo coat, which is a paper cut one. So they were all ones that, yeah, just looked like they had lots of room. Would that silk go with the fabric Godmother Amore viscose? I'd have to put them together. Can you send me that question as a direct message and I can take a picture of them together and show you what it looks like? I use hand sewing needles called Between size 10, which are very fine and sharp. Okay, that's good to know, thank you. How about a zip in panel to remove after birth/baby carrying? Yeah, that's a good idea. I personally feel like I probably couldn't really be bothered to go to the effort to do that. But that's maybe just me. And also I actually have like a really extensive collection of coats and jackets, but ironically I actually don't really go anywhere because I live really close to the shop, and I only really go to the shop, so I end up not wearing them that often. So when I was pregnant with my kids, I just kind of wore the coats that I had anyway, and I didn't really sort of miss I found it okay. I found it was hard. I found that it was okay. God, sorry, my brain is like really slow tonight. Okay, any ideas how to make the sleeve head stand up on a puffy sleeve on viscose fabric? Yeah, you can do, I'm going to be quite vague when I describe this, but hopefully it's enough information for you to try and find something else on it. You basically make like a little kind of sleeve puff thing that gets sewn in the inside. I'm pretty sure they actually show you how to do that in the Fabric Godmother peony dress. I'm sure I've heard them talk about that, but I bet there's some kind of like tutorial somewhere to do it as well. It's almost just like a little kind of thing that you make to go on the inside of the garment that's gathered, and it just helps to give fullness. So then it would help it to just sort of, yeah, to stay up, to stand up. So maybe, sorry, that's quite vague, but maybe you could have a little look around. I'm sure there'll be something that you can do. Okay, the next one was, please can you advise on fabrics and a pattern for a waterproof jacket? So those wax cottons that I showed in the beginning would be good. And I think the Tilly and the Buttons Eden and the I Am Patterns Jack's Raincoat would be nice for them. They're both lined. So I think they would be a nice combination. Okay, the next one was the Meat Milk Tencel Twill. Would this work for shorts like the True Bias Emerson? This is the Meat Milk Tencel Twill here. I think it would be really nice. It's a nice thickness. It's not see-through at all. It's super soft. It's very kind of floaty and swishy. And yeah, I think it would be really nice for the Emerson. So yes to that one. And then the final question that I've got is suggestions for a non-elastic adjustable patterns with ties to get a good fit, particularly around the waist. I'm postpartum and I am a bit scared of spending my precious free time making something that is too small to wear now, but might then be too big in a few months' time. I'm trying to move away from using elastic as I find that my garments look a bit shapeless after a while. So I was trying to think of dresses where that either come with a tie or they're like really easy to add one. Ones that have a waistline seam are good, because then you can just make like a little sort of narrow belt or like a tie out of the same fabric and do little thread chain belt loops at that seam between the bodice and the skirt, and then that helps to keep it in place, and then you can tie it in to make it more fitted. So the Tilly and the Buttons Indigo, the Megan Nielsen Sudley So Liberated Hinterland dress, the Chalk and Notch fringe dress, the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra, and the Forget Me Not Lola dress. They are all dresses that I've made, and they either come with a tie or I've made one and done little thread belt loops, and yeah, then you can sort of adjust the fit and make it a bit more fitted. So yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, so that was all my questions that were sent in beforehand. If anybody does have any others just now, then let me know what they are, but I'll go back and catch up on some of the comments and questions here. I feel like they did something like that in one of the episodes of the Sewing Bee this year with a puffy sleeve. Oh, maybe. I totally can't remember now. The paper cut Sapporo was perfect for my daughter when pregnant and looks just as good now. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's a really nice coat. Any tips on how to line the closet core Cali dress? I love wearing shirt dresses, but they always stick to my tights. I feel like it might be quite awkward to line it. Actually, what I would probably suggest that you do is maybe just make like a little slip that you wear underneath instead. So rather than having to try and line the dress, just have like a little sort of underskirt that you could make, so that sort of stops the stickiness to the tight situation. Yes, it's in the Peony dress, a sleeve head poof. So that's the name, a sleeve head poof. Any kind of coat with a belt might work for the pregnant lady. Good suggestion, thank you. I missed the name of the fabric you suggested for the protea pants. Could you repeat it? Thanks. Yes, it is. I'll read it from the tag so I get it accurate. This particular colour is indigo, but it does come in other colours as well. So the indigo bamboo blended twill fabric. Okay, a sleeve poof pattern is a bit like a rugby ball. You fold in half and gather to within an inch of its life and stitch into the sleeve. Yeah, that's what I was picturing. Thank you for summarising it for me. Any recommendations for midi length autumn coat, please, lined or unlined? What I would suggest you do, which is what I was actually doing before when I was looking for pattern suggestions for the various coat questions that came in tonight, is that if you search fold line coat patterns, then it will bring up a blog post that the Fold Line website did on lots of different coat patterns, and they do it by like different styles as well, and it's a really good way to see like lots of different coat patterns together. So yeah, if you check out the Fold Line coat sewing patterns, then yeah, you'll get a really good summary there. The I Am Patterns Mimosa Cape for accommodating winter coat. Thank you. Any recommendations for lining / reversible for the Emmy jacket? Not sure I don't know what the Emmy jacket is. I need to look that one up. A puff sleeve head, sew it curly here on Instagram has a little tutorial. Excellent, thank you. I love watching the lives. Always tackle my mending pile or save button sewing onto Mondays. Oh, that's good. Would that bamboo twill work for the Merchant and Mills Eve trousers? Yes, it would. It's really good for lots of different trousers. Could you make the Tilly and the Buttons pearl wrap cardi and the double-sided knit that you made the Esme in? Yes, I think you could. Which fabric would you recommend for lining the waxed fabric? I would probably try to line it with something that was like nice and cozy, maybe like a nice cotton flannel would be nice. We do actually have some nice cotton flannels that came in. Let me see if I can try and get them. Like this kind of thing I think would be nice. It sort of make it feel a little bit cozier as well. It's like sort of medium weight cotton that's kind of brushed on one side, so it's nice and soft. You could always, if you wanted it to have like a bit more sort of structure, kind of like thickness or weight to it as well, you could also interline it. So even if you just put calico in the middle between the two, you could do that as well. Layla, who is our who teaches the retreats with me here, she made a Kelly anorak quite a few years ago now, and it was out of like a yellow wax cotton, and I'm pretty sure she interlined it with calico and then had like a kind of checked cotton lining, and it looks really nice. It was like a sort of lighter weight kind of raincoat. So yeah, hope that is inspiring. Well, thanks very much for watching, everyone, and for all of your questions. If you missed the start or anything, then I'll always share them here if you watch back on Instagram, or I'll be uploading it tonight and tomorrow. So then you can watch the recording on my YouTube channel tomorrow as well, and then I'll put in all of the timestamp chapters of all the different questions that I answer to. So the other thing actually I wanted to say, I should have said that at the beginning, is that next Monday there's not like a normal live at 8 o'clock because it is the big sew off charity event. So that is where we're hosting one of the hubs, so the Birmingham hub, where people can come and do some sewing as part of the big sew off event proceedings that the girls at Sew Over It are sort of heading up, and so the studio will be open from 10 in the morning till 10 in the evening, and we do have a live scheduled with the main big sew off place, the headquarters. I think it's at 7 o'clock that we're going live with them, but we'll probably be going live at various points during the day next Monday, because our focus is going to be on sewing with stretchy fabric. We're going to be making lots of stretch garments, t-shirts and jumpers and knickers, all using stretch fabrics that are all going to be donated to the Birmingham and Solihull Women's Aid charity. So thank you if anybody's donated fabric. We've got loads of fabric that we're going to be making all of these garments with, so be sharing like lots of tips on generally sewing with jersey fabric throughout the day as well. So you'll see me, and then you might see Becca and Helen as well, just sharing some of their tips too throughout the day. So yeah, I will be around on Instagram. There will be lives next Monday, but it won't be like this normal sort of setup of live. Did I miss any other questions here? Did I miss the question about trousers? I'll watch back later. Yeah, there has been a few questions about trousers. Would that be okay to use in the sleeves? Sorry Anne, I've missed the context of that question. Oh, you mean the lining? I think it would maybe depend on the style of the garment and how fitted the sleeves were. If they were quite fitted, then maybe you would want to use something slippier in the sleeves, and then just use this for the bodice. Yeah. Thank you for all your thanks, everyone. Okay, somebody's asking, do you still need fabric for the big sew off? Probably we don't. We do have quite a lot of fabric, but any fabric that's left over is going to be donated to Melanie, who runs a refugee sewing project. So it won't go to waste if you donate any fabric and we don't end up using it in the day. Sorry, did I miss the Sewing Society tip? Thank you. Actually, no, I hadn't shared one this week. I know the Sewing Society's like, because it's basically 5 months, the way the Wednesdays fall, it's like 5 weeks between the release. So it feels like quite long, because normally it would have been like this Wednesday, but because this Wednesday is still August, what month I'm in, then it's not this Wednesday, it's the next Wednesday again. There is a post on my grid that's got some hints, so you can check that out as well. But I think it's going to be a good one. I think you guys are going to like it. Okay, so I think that's it, everyone. Thanks all for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you around very soon. Bye.